Alright, I get it. Smell of hot chocolate everywhere, people are racing against each other to finally get diabetes, and couples preparing their breakup for the next summer. Best time of the year. But it even gets better. The gaming studio that's notoriously bad at providing valuable information for their community has finally released another blog post. And no, I don't mean the team building exercise which they call Technical Explainer from a few days ago. I mean an actual blog post. So let's get into it. So, Winter 2024 Development Update. Posted by the Hytale team December 17th, 2024. Hello. In this end of year development update, we will be discussing the progress we've made in 2024 and looking ahead to our plans for 2025. We will catch up on this year's milestones, show the visual progress of the new engine, and take a look at the updated state of our creative features, including a little bit of music. Let's get into it. Okay, good start. Let's look for the music first. I'm always excited about new music. Okay, there doesn't seem to be any dedicated track here, but we will come to them later. Alright, back in our summer update, John explained... If you don't know what the summer update is, the summer update was something about filling in the blanks where they showed the new engine. And if you can imagine, the grassland here is the old engine, and the imaginary thing over there, which we still don't know for sure if it exists, the new engine, and everything in between, like which they have to bring over to the new engine and fill in the blanks is like what they describe as blanks. And I think there was a little showcase of the old versus the new engine. Let's give it a look real quick. Yeah. So basically, major difference is there are no pigs in the new engine. You can look this blog post up if you're interested in. Let me know in the comments if you need another video about it. Okay, John explained. If you don't know who John is, John Hendricks is the game director of Hytale, a really important person, armor vendor. Check it out if you'd like to. John explained how much of this year would be about achieving an eternal milestone called filling in the blanks. That's what we just talked about. Or just blanks for short. This milestone was all about proving that our new engine can support our gameplay and creative goals, putting us in a position to start both actively transitioning features over from the legacy engine and developing new ones. Okay, basically what we just said, they tried to bring everything over from the old engine to the new engine, and what they've done until now is like proven that the new engine is capable of doing everything the old engine can, so they don't waste their time bringing everything to the new engine. Alright, we are happy to say that Blancs has been a big success. Is it just me, or is it kind of odd to call, like, is Blancs a real word? Like, is it a real word, or is it just an imaginary thing they put into the blog post? I don't know, let me know in the comments. Work concluded last week with an internal playtest that truly exceeded our expectations. Players jumped into a new custom worlds, built together, explored the capital, queued for simple minigames, and experienced the basic version of the adventure loop. Resource gathering, crafting, and exploration in a procedurally generated open world. Okay, really interesting. So they had a real success with their Blanc thingies, and now they have actually tested the game with real players together in multiplayer, exploring the capital. If you don't know what the capital is, I think you could best describe it like as Hypixel for Hytale. It's like a social hub which players can come together, interact, like maybe trade some of their stuff, you know, do some illegal activities in this direction. And they even build simple mini games there. So new engine is already capable of building mini games and playing them together, which is crazy. And experience a basic version of the adventure loop. Resource gathering, crafting, exploration in a procedurally generated open world. So the new engine is capable of supporting everything the base game has to offer apparently in multiplayer, which is a huge step from everything we have seen so far. If you remember the last footage we got from the engine, like in the summer blog post, there weren't even branches on the trees, no animations on the torches, nothing. It was the most basic version. Like, I was worried for the state of the game, but now it seems like they have made real progress really fast. These experiences are placeholders, but they represent the meaningful progress we have made towards rebuilding Hytale in an engine that is far more robust and future-proof, using consistent processes that deliver great results. Okay, if you didn't know, they decided to rewrite the engine from C# to C++, so it's more compatible across all platforms, so they don't have to do this, you know, the stupid thing like Minecraft does, where they have a Bedrock version which is like super broken and nobody should ever play it, and the Java version which is gold and great and whatever, but they have to develop the same update twice basically, which is cancer. So what Hytale does is they decided to rewrite the old engine into a new engine which is cross-platform compatible, much more efficient, and now they are building upon it and making actual progress. And as they said here, all these experiences like the capital, queued for minigames, basic adventure loop cube are placeholder, which means they're only showing us the top of the iceberg, just, no spoilers, just the top of the iceberg, but there's already much below it. Maybe not fully functional, maybe not, refined and everything, but a lot below it. At least that's what I'm getting from it. Okay, we are not just playing catch up either. We're starting to see the benefits of our new engine over the old, particularly when it comes to networking and social features. Okay, sounds a bit abstract. I think they refer to multiplayer, talking to players, interacting with players, everything like that. Very important for a multiplayer game, right? So having a lot of players on a server, everything functioning, no issues with like you destroy a block, it appears for the other person or vice versa. Okay, in late November, we celebrated getting 100 players online in the capital at the same time, a bar we hadn't hit in Legacy. Okay, so they were actually capable in late November bring like 100 players online, which also meant, I don't know if these 100 players were only from the company, but it sounds like there were also external people brought in to test the game and probably played minigames in the capital and everything around it. Huge progress right here. Hadn't that before? Great. Blancs has been built from a mixture of placeholders and spoiler content. So we're going to avoid showing too much from those playtests right now. Okay, that's basically what we just said. They have an iceberg, don't want to show too much of it, don't want to spoil us. They just give us a vague impression of what's capable overall. However, we do have a bunch to share from the new engine, including, yes, a closer look at the Orbis faction we teased during Halloween. Okay, if you don't know what the new faction were, they blurred out the name, but I think the community really quickly analyzed that name meant undead, and basically what they reworked the whole skeleton faction. And I think now they're showing us what they've done. I'm really excited for that. Okay, let's give it a look. So the undead miner. What have we got here? We got a skeleton. Okay, previously we only saw skeletons with a bit of armor, like laying around on the ground dead with a sword in hand. Oh, we once saw a mage too, actually. So it's really a whole fleshed out faction like the Quebecs, like the Pharaons. Didn't expect it, actually. I thought it was more like basic mobs like in Minecraft, but apparently it's a whole faction. I'm really interested to see if you can actually interact with them, like allies, enemies, trade with them. Okay, what do we got here? We have a miner skeleton with iron pickaxe, a bit rusty, a miner's helmet, like the one in Terraria, if you know, which gives you light while you mine, which would really improve the torch shortage every Minecraft player always has. He has armor, some leathery iron armor overall, shoulder pads, like some hand protection. Don't know why skeleton would need that, but whatever. The backpack, that's nice. Nice to see backpacks in Hytale. I don't say confirmed yet because concept art is never confirmed. It's always subject to change. We still don't know if Hytale will release at some point, but I think we're on a good path here. Okay, so they're backpacks filled with minerals. And now what I'm wondering is this skeleton actually able to like farm ores, go into a mine, because it's running, it could be running to a mine, mine some ores, fill their backpack until it's full, and like bring it somewhere to a chest or something, which would be an absolute incredible mechanic. It's like an entrepreneur's dream. They need no food, no water, no sleep. You can just send them to work. It would be nuts. Imagine the automated farms you could build with it. But it could also be that it's like just an item that could drop, that has a certain drop percentage when you kill the miner, and you can then convert it to like minerals, which would be the more boring variant, but also be much more simple. Don't know what it will be. I would go with the first one here because they always say how great their AI is and how they refine it. It's what makes them stand out from other games like Minecraft and Terraria. Mobs that are really in the environment, driven by AI, can interact with the player, can interact with each other. So I wouldn't wonder if that's actually possible. Okay, let's go to the next one. What comes to mind here is I hope Hytale goes with their horror elements in a more mature direction, like a more adult direction. And I hope this is kind of what they're showing here, because what I remember when I look at this picture, give me a second, Hytale, and there's one image in particular I'm remembering. It's here. This fiery image where you have skeletons attacking you, and then there's skeletons laying on the ground. And I think that's what they are trying to say here. If you pass by these skeletons, some of them initially thought that would rise up and attack you. And I think what would be a really cool mechanic is if you actually pass by them and they like stand up really silently and then attack you from behind, or like hoard together and attack you from behind. So yeah, basically undead rising again. Okay, next image, undead soldier. The image in the lower left here, this was basically the teaser image from Halloween. It's just a lot darker. You could barely see the lag down here in the left, but it's same image. And now we have a full 360-degree view of this new faction, new skeleton warrior. And I think it's fairly similar design to the undead miner, like this iron leathery touch and this rusty sword he has here. Very creepy and unsettling vibe in my opinion. And here you can see the sword, which is really interesting because there's the rusty variant. And what I'm interested in here is, will items in Hytale actually like deteriorate over time, and may they lose ability to make damage or mine a block or something, or will they actually keep the same level of damage and just break at some point like in in Minecraft. Because if you have a lot of items and you always have to care about, like, do I have to repair that the moment the anvil or something? Do I have to always look out for it to keep it nice and clean and, new and everything? If you don't, you just get absolutely demolished in the next fight, So I would really prefer the Minecraft variant here. But absolutely nice progress. Love this new faction. Might be my favorite factions besides Quebecs. So, I think we've seen all the most interesting images for now. Okay, before I spoil you with the next image, let's read the text here first. Orbis Undead have had a major revamp over the last year, both from a narrative perspective and in terms of their look. In the screenshot below, an undead miner awaits the player in a cave in one of Orbis' temperate regions. What power has roused this lifeless being from the slumber? Who were there? And what could have happened to them to rip the spark fly from them? Let's give it a look. Okay, that's quite interesting actually, because whenever I think about those like prefab things they have built for the game, which are like tens of thousands of prefabs, which make every playthrough unique, this abandoned structures, dungeons, everything around it, I personally never think about natural structures like caves filled with like an enemy or something. But it could also be that these simple structures here, like this cave dungeon, is actually just randomly generated because it's so simple. So we have like this cave, a lot of ore here. I don't think that's natural ore generation, because if it was, we wouldn't have to mine a lot. But I think it's just like belonging to the dungeon to give the player a bit of an incentive to actually go there and engage in the fight. There's a chest in the background, probably filled with ore, maybe other loot like swords or something like we've seen in the previous pictures. And here's the skeleton miner protecting it. So there's several entries to this cave. I don't know if these stairs are just natural generation here. No, not entirely sure, but there's definitely a hole at the top where light is coming through. So might be you can enter from the top too. But what I'm missing here a little bit is the helmet, which I speculated might give off light like in Terraria. This mining helmet doesn't seem to provide any light for the surrounding here, which is really sad to see. I hope this will change in the future. Might be because of all the placeholders they've been talked about, but might change in the future. And I think he doesn't have a pickaxe, if I see that correctly. There's no pickaxe in his hand. Might be just they can spawn with and without pickaxe, or maybe there was an oversight. And I think he has a backpack actually, but it doesn't seem to be filled with minerals yet. So my speculation regarding filling up the backpack over time might be true. And it might be that the miner actually mines like these surrounding ores, but nothing confirmed yet, so just speculation. Let's go on with the next one. Well, we're not going to tell you what they're not going to tell you. Who were they and what could have happened to the sparkler? Okay, well, they're not going to tell us. Okay, but you will figure it out anyways. I mean, I don't mind. I'm more of a person like who plays the game and then figures out stuff. I actually don't like to be spoiled upfront too much about it, so I think Hytale is actually doing pretty well in regard of that. But a bit more transparency regarding the state of the game, so we still know it's actually being created, is still nice, and I think they're doing a really good job reassuring us with this blog post. Okay, our creative team continues to work with our technical team. Okay, if you haven't read this technical blog post I've talked about, basically that's the essence of it. That and Launchpad. So if you're interested into it, read it, but that's the essence. To bring the new engine up to and ultimately beyond the standard we set previously. You can see some of that progress below. Okay, interesting. We're getting to see some progress of the engine. So we got some light comparisons between the legacy and the new engine. So on the left side, we got the legacy engine, which you can see it's like only a little bit of light. You can't really recognize it, especially if you're in the game and far from the distance, right? And you can still see like there's a very blocky texture of the grass, like the borders are clearly visible. So let's look at the night image here. Like the block texture of the grass, it's like the further you go from light source, the less bright the blocks are. But it's this harsh cutoff from block to block in terms of light level. It goes really dark, really fast. There's no continuous fall off in brightness. It's just this, 10% less, very noticeable. Let's give the new engine a look. Okay, it's much brighter. You can see the colors much clearer. I think the clouds also changed a little bit. You can't see them in the upper image, but in the night image, you can see they're much finer. I think that's also because of the light engine. And in the lower image, we can also see the harsh cutoffs are absolutely gone, vaporized. There's now a smooth transition between light and dark. You can't even really tell these are separate blocks. It seems like one big floor. Really great to see. And if you have noticed, I think these images were taken at different times of days, which is a bit sad because the left legacy night image has some stars in it, but because the sky is much brighter in the new engine, you can see the stars in the new engine sky much stronger than in the old engines. And I'm not sure if it's actually because of the new engine or because the light interfered more in the legacy engine. We will figure it out in the future for sure. Okay, pretty nice progress. This really reassures that the engine is going forward forward, and there will be a release date at some point, maybe in 1 to 2 years, but it's great to see that they actually make progress. Especially since with the new engine going forward, we can probably expect a lot more frequent blog posts in the future. Okay, as you can see, our dynamic light capabilities are much improved in the new engine, allowing for softer transitions and more striking colors during the day. Yes, exactly what we noticed. Expect to see more progress like this as we work through the next year's rendering milestones. This actually sounds like we might be getting more engine updates as soon as they implemented the old engine's features into the new one, which might be much faster than previously. Okay, here's an example of the new engine now allows our artists and builders to achieve. Okay, what the new engine allows to achieve. Okay, new engine progress winter 2024. Okay, that's actually a video. We will jump right into it and let's go. Okay, absolutely blown away. I think this is the most amazing clip we have had in the last 3.5 years. So much stuff going on, so much important details. We will take a look at everything once again and go through it step by step and just, discuss what's happening. Okay, first of all, we see some ore, some iron ore in the left bottom corner here. And it's like, this is probably the ore, the undead miner used for armor and everything and gear. And we've seen ore previously in some other clip Hytale presented to us. And there they all was very shiny and everything. It's just a little detail here. Okay, let's go on. Did you notice the branch here? Since the last clip of the new engine had a bit of critique because there were no branches in the trees, because the new engine wasn't ready for that, I think they've intentionally placed branch here on the ground and looked at it to tell you, we can do it, but we won't for now. And I'm actually not sure if any of these trees have branches at the moment, because they're these chunks of wood that are like stacked on each other, but I think they're telling us they're capable to do it. I would have loved to see those bonfires to be actually bright and burning. We saw that in the old engine, like some footage of it, but I'd really love to see that in the new engine. Okay. You can notice here a lot of familiar blocks we've seen previously. So it's great to see the stone, the wood, the railings, everything. It's great to see not everything changes with the new engine. Like everything, mostly stays the same, which is absolutely great. Because when I first saw the trailer back in the day, it was the game. This game hyped me a lot. And I love to see that it's mostly staying the same regarding visuals at least. And if you didn't notice, this time, compared to the last time we saw footage from the new engine, the torches are actually animated. Okay, we see some bookshelves, barrels. Alright, quite interesting. Like we saw in the previous image from the new engine lighting system, you can see these emitting light blocks here, which paint the whole area bluish or in another color, depending on what color you choose. And every Minecraft player who ever lived wished for color torches. I don't know why Minecraft never included them, but Hytale does. And much more. Like the lighting qualities are much more refined than Minecraft, and it just looks amazing. I first thought actually that maybe the windows let light through and color the room because of that, which would be an amazing mechanic. Maybe they implement it, maybe the engine isn't just ready for that or optimized for that now, but maybe we'll see it in the future. Okay, what do we got here? We got some chests, okay, single chests. We got a stove, like a pot, but I think the water isn't moving. Yeah, I think the water isn't moving. That's a bit odd maybe, but it could be a placeholder like they tell us every second sentence here. There's a pie, maybe some kind of baguette or cheese, not sure, but every cook stream, great. And I think there's some pattern issue here on the floor. Don't know if that's intended or just, the cooking area, but there's a little pattern issue for all the ADHD people among us. I think there's still a little bit of an issue with the stairs here. I don't know if you noticed, but it was like swoosh. It didn't step. He just teleported up there. But might be just because of those placeholders we're talking about. Double chests confirmed apparently. And again, these sliding blocks, nice beds. And what's really interesting here is I think why does it start immediately when I rewind it? Okay, how detailed can you actually place these blocks? Do you see the bed here with the heightened blanket and the candle? Like, can we just switch out the bottom of the candle? Can we make our own blanket? Can we place it on the bed? Can we make our own pillows? I think it would be maybe a bit too much to customize everything to this level, but I really hope for a little bit of more customization capabilities than in Minecraft. And I think that will be possible, but we will see. I think they glitched something through, maybe a hidden room, never know. Hytale. Okay, there's some windows here, just like bars, interesting, compared to those like non-see-through windows we saw earlier, like here, the colored windows. We have tables, like seats. Okay, and now we have a relatively wide shot over the area, and I think there is some... Do you see? I catched it. Okay, top right corner, I think there's some kind of shader metrics here, like dynamic lighting calculation metrics here. And also a good look at the ore again. Like we've not seen an ore this close before. Yeah, I think that's about it. So that was basically the first real look at the new engine. And I think it was amazing. We need more of this. The game is actually in work. It's actually progressing fast. And we need more of this. Okay, let's continue with the blog post, shall we? This clip demonstrates the progress we have made when it comes to recreating Hytale's visual identity in the new engine. Okay, so they're really trying to keep these visuals, to keep the textures we've seen in the old engine and transfer to a new one, which is absolutely lovely. There's still a number of placeholder elements on display here, including player animations and movements. You will notice a little bit of awkwardness while going up the stairs. Okay, I don't think we saw the player animations. Not entirely sure here. Maybe some arms wiggling. I actually thought the player animations were relatively smooth, but I saw somewhat here. When we're going down the stairs, yeah, it's more like a sliding thing here. And yeah, yes, the arms are a little bit off, but I don't mind. I didn't even notice the first time. Okay, however, it's hugely motivating to see these cozy elements of the core Hytale fantasy coming into focus on our new platform. Lovely. The team has also made big strides in terms of our build tools and creative functionality. Below, you can watch a builder use an early version of our prefab library tool to create a rustic scene, along with more of the promised new music. Okay, so both clips contain music. Great. There are many placeholder elements in this clip, including work in progress element, UI elements, biomes, and rendering. Okay, so basically everything is a placeholder. I guess like to expect everything is about to change, but much of it is still interesting to see. Okay, let's give it a look. Okay, seriously, this feature alone will probably attract so many players to the game. Like, if you have ever used World Edit in Minecraft with schematics and everything, you know what a pain in the ass it can be. And this thing is just natively provided, fully customizable to preview elements you want to build, to save them, to adjust them. You can build landscapes in a second. You can build whole player maps probably in minutes. It's absolutely nuts what we see here. So we have like creative equipment, crafting. We're in creative mode, basically. The inventory is definitely larger than Minecraft, which is great to see. We have the hotbar. We have elements here in the right top corner, which are probably like customization elements or something. Also, something that looks like a scripting interface, which for every content creator or more technological person is great to see. But I guess Hytale kind of has to do this, because from what I've seen, what I've heard, Hytale probably isn't to allow mods from the community, like add-ons and everything. So I think they just have to build these features natively, which obviously like improves them massively in performance and usability, but also limits what we can do in general. So they have to put a lot of stuff into these creative tools so that they actually satisfy the community's needs, right? Okay, so what he just did is he probably built some of these things himself, like this tree, or even copied it out of the game. And now he has as some kind of prefabs, some pre-built schematics here in his inventory, which he can select or delete or add new ones to, directly preview them, rotate them. He can see where he places them. It just makes world building so much easier. Okay, so I think the texture is a little bit off. You can see through a tree. The log has this light spots on it, but might be just to preview that it's not placed already, so it might be intended behavior, or it just might be a placeholder. I'm not entirely sure here. And of course, there's this TP bar and HP bar in the left bottom corner, but I'm not sure if this is just a placeholder. I wouldn't rely that that's actually how it will look in the game. And on the right side, we have progress information, which like tell you what you've done, redo, undo, and you can change your speed. For everybody wanting to build a server, wanting to modify their own world, that's lovely to see. Okay, let's go. Functionality like this is a big part of how we are planning to empower creators, whether they're simply happy to tinker or aspire to make content creation or game development their career. Okay, so they're really building a large amount of assets for game developers, tinkerers, so they can do everything in-game on the level of Hytale natively built in. Absolutely amazing. When it comes to the latter, we are happy to say that our creator outreach program has been going well and is delivering a huge amount of value to the project. We're excited to announce that we intend to bring in the first external creator team to work in a new Hytale engine in mid-2025. So they're making great progress, bringing in external people next year. If you develop a game in this margin, this size, it's always great to see when the game developers include external people to look at the game. It probably means like there's already a lot of things ready to be looked at, to be assessed, and those people are giving feedback, and based on this feedback it will be refined in the future. But you can only do that if the game is in a certain state of readiness. So great to see. Getting to play and create ourselves is great, but watching the first creators do it is going to be even better. It will be amazing when I get my hands on that. Speaking of 2025, here's executive producer and game director John Hendricks with a look at the next year's. Okay, it has been an incredible year, but I always say that. What makes this year special is the confidence Blonks has given us going into 2025. It feels great to be at a point where we can start using our new engine for what it is meant for, making Hytale. I've spoken before about how we've been using our time waiting on a new engine for much needed tools development, creating explorations, gameplay, and UX designs and prototypes. Whatever we can do to get ready for what comes next. But in my opinion, the most critical thing we've been working on have been our team and our processes. I've been proud to say that not only is our engine more capable than before, so is our team. Okay, if you haven't heard about it, Hytale has had some great hires in the past year, which boosted the team's capabilities, their performance, speed. They're really going fast forward now. Really certain we can expect much more at the end of the year to see, and maybe even beta next year, maybe even at the end of the year. We will just, wait for it over the next year. And we are going to need that capability in 2025. The job ahead is to bring the gameplay and content over from our legacy engine, a process which is often referred to as porting, and getting into playtesting as soon as possible. Okay, so basically what they are doing now. Previously, last summer blog post, they finished testing the new engine's capability. So now bringing all this cool stuff you see in the game, all the interactions, all the mechanics, rendering systems, NPC behavior, all that stuff over to the new game, which we probably can expect a lot of blog posts in the near future to see about that. Okay, the first half of the year we see competitive and creative play take center stage to prepare for playtests in the second half of the year. Okay, so we're probably going to see more of that in the second half than in the first half. At the time, we will be focused on adventure and social games. The second half is social gameplay, first half is playtest, competitive play, etc. We will also continue to move fundamental systems and features like tools, world gen, NPC behaviors, rendering, and personalization forward so that they do not fall behind. Okay, so these are basically all the blocks that were built upon the old engine and now transferred to the new engine. And they further refine it in the future. Alright, so we got another image. I think we've seen most of that already. I've seen on Twitter that there's some Bluetooth trees here. There's flying tree behind there, so a bit of a miss of the Hytale creator team. Now, actually, I'm questioning every tree in this image. Are they naturally generated, or have they been built by hand and they just forgot to finish building this tree? It's like Matrix. Can you be sure that everything of this is true? We will never know, probably. Okay, we've already come to an end of the blog post, so let's get on with it. We are incredibly hyped to bring an external creator team in to give us feedback on our tools and engine. A wide variety of creators providing us with valuable feedback on a regular basis. But this is different. This is going to be a gameplay team creating a new minigame for Hytale. Okay, so basically all the features needed to build that are already in place. They are just going forward to refine it further, but they're already in place, which means a lot of progress is made. Why only one team? So that we can give them support, respond to feedback, and document the process for the teams to follow. With over 5 experiences in various stages of playtesting, it is going to be another intense year of Hypixel Studios. Thank you once again for everything. Support Hytale, it means the world to us. Okay, so they are far enough to bring an external team to already test and use the features they've built upon the new engine, but they're not far enough to do it in parallel with multiple teams. So they're still a bit cautious, still need to refine probably a lot, actually more than I have expected in the blog post, but it's still a lot of progress being made. And this blog post is just the best we've seen in the last 3.5 to 4 years. I hope it keeps going with that. I hope blog posts keep getting more frequently now the new engine is being in place and built upon. I think it will be the case, but we will see in the future.